Texas just labeled the Muslim Brotherhood a terror organization. So that got my attention because you're thinking, well, the federal government hasn't done it. Are we Islamophobic? Are we being racist against Muslims? But when you start to learn about that particular organization and you find out that like Saudi Arabia labeled them a terror organization, and you start to do some homework into this and how far this goes back, it becomes alarming. And I remember watching an episode of Dave Rubin's show from 9 years ago.
Wow.
And he had a guest on talking about how the Muslim Brotherhood was working to manipulate curriculum and textbooks for kids in Tennessee. And I just thought, what the hell does the Muslim Brotherhood want with kids in elementary school and junior high and high school? So we want to start with that. The K through 12 pipeline. Why are Qatari funded materials being used in public schools?
So this is a great question, and it's actually going to bring me back to how I started covering this story in the first place. So I was an education reporter, and I had gotten a tip that there was a map hanging in a classroom in a New York City public school in Brooklyn. And it was a map of the Middle East, but there was no Israel on the map. And regardless of what you think about the conflict in the Middle East, regardless of what you think about Israel, that map was inaccurate. Israel's a country, it exists. And this map was hanging in an elementary school classroom, and it was teaching kids that this is what the Middle East looked like, and that wasn't the real picture. So that was initially why I started looking into that story. What I found, just digging in a little bit deeper, was that the map was hanging in a classroom that was funded by a group called Qatar Foundation International. And that is a U.S. subsidiary of Qatar Foundation, which is founded by the mother of the Emir of Qatar. So this is an organization with a very direct link to the government of Qatar that is spending money in American public schools. So I dug in a little bit deeper. And what I found was that Qatar Foundation International had given over $1 million to the New York City public school system in the past 5 years. And that's really what, for me, started me on this track of trying to understand Qatari influence in America, because it was so baffling to me. Even though Qatar is a non-NATO ally of the United States, I also know that, they have been accused of funding terrorists, of harboring the worst terrorists in the world. The leaders of Hamas, the leaders of the Taliban, they're all in Doha.
Right.
And so I thought, why are they funding American schools? And it's happening all over the country. I mean, they have dozens of grant programs across the country in school districts, big and small.
Okay. So are any of the, this is so mind blowing. Are any of the parents, because I'd imagine there's a lot of Jews in Brooklyn and there's no Israel on the map at school. Is the school making the parents aware of this funding? Is this public knowledge?
So it's public insofar as you can look up all these public records and find where funding is coming from and what schools it's going to. And that's how I was able to track it myself. And I do think that at a certain point in time, Qatar Foundation was promoting this. So, for example, there used to be articles on Qatar Foundation's website about these, they're called Arab Cultural Arts programs. That's what it was in Brooklyn, this classroom. There used to be an article about that program on the website, but when I started looking into it, I actually found that article had been taken down, and I had to find it using the Internet Archive. And I saw a couple examples of that. Tweets also about these classrooms have been taken down when I started looking into it. And so I do think that at one point it was promoted, but with greater scrutiny, I think that promotion has at least lessened.
Okay. Let's progress to the obvious next question. Universities. How much money is Qatar pouring into our universities? I mean, I've seen figures out there that involve Harvard, like our most elite institutions. How much money and for what? And to where?
So Qatar is the largest foreign funder of American universities since we started tracking this data in 1986. So since that time, Qatar's given $6.3 billion to American universities. The second most is China at 5.6 billion. So that's a ton of money, obviously. You asked, where's it going? For Qatar, a lot of that money is actually going to fund campuses of American universities in Doha, Qatar's capital. So there are at least 5, because I believe one is being shut down right now, US campuses that have satellite campuses in Doha. And I'll give you a couple examples. One is Northwestern's journalism school, and another is Georgetown University's public policy school.
Okay. So here's what I see. I see kids since Gaza, since October 7th, on the college campuses, divest from Israel. We demand you divest. And listen, I'm not going to give Israel a pass. I'll be fair. Like, then, okay, how are you spending your money? Be transparent about it. Even Ben Shapiro's like, America shouldn't give Israel money. Like, I have no problem engaging in these conversations. Oh, it's Netanyahu and Smotrich, and this is, people, atrocities have occurred on both sides. What I am not seeing is, how about divest from Qatar? All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking here.